Hi, this is my gift of knowledge to you. Take it for what it's worth. I'm not going to give you my resume or talk about all the people I've known or the famous people I've worked with. I'm just going to put this out there as my gift because I think that the tool of community-wide praise and worship is being underutilized in the Christian community. That I believe that if we can sing together and we can worship together, that we can work together to solve problems in our community as church bodies. And I'm not going to talk about who I am. If you're curious about who I am, you can find out from my channel here. But what I am going to offer you is a formula that I know that works to gather together into a single show or event members of your community who are involved in praise and worship. Now, the reason I know this is because I have been party to this kind of thing that is commonplace in bigger cities. Community-wide praise and worship events can be enormous in big cities, and they have the same potential to unite people in small towns. Now, it does require some people who have a genuine burden for their communities. What is the benefit of praise and worship, community-wide praise and worship events? Well, first of all, if it's about your ego, then it's probably going to fail, and this is going to backfire on you. If anybody in there that's involved in it is about their ego, you're going to have problems. This is the problem of running any kind of multi-group musical event. And then you add Christian doctrine and preachers to that mess, and you can have a real issue. This is why I tend to like to stick to, when it comes to the production of the show itself, we stick to working with just the musicians and the praise and worship leaders from the various groups. So if you wanted to start one of these events, the first thing you need to have really is a purpose. The purpose shouldn't be just to get together and make praise and worship music. Honestly, here is my theory on this, and this is why I believe this is powerful. This is why I'm sharing this with the world. That let's say you have a homeless problem, a homeless situation in your community, and that there needs to be funds raised and things done to help people in your community. I know that in one of the communities that I'm associated with here in Oregon, that we have a high number, like a ridiculously high number of children who identify as homeless, who are enrolled in public school. And someone working in the public school system hipped me to that. And that's information that's spreading through several communities here in Oregon, and it's going to produce an action. And the action is to raise money to help people so that, I mean, these kids are trying to get an education. They don't have a bed to sleep in. They don't have a home. They don't have a roof over their heads. And there's nothing in the system that's going to alleviate the housing problem in the Pacific Northwest anytime soon. So a lot of people are making decisions to try to do something. So this would be a great example of a cause in your community that you could use community-wise praise and worship services to help do something about. So in Texas, in the little town of Weatherford, Texas, there's an organization known as the Center of Hope. This is a multi-denominational center who helps their community in fulfilling the needs of the homeless, and more importantly than that, they help people bridge from homelessness into working families. So they help them find jobs. They have job training. There's vocational training, housing assistance, right down to the food bank and the soup kitchen. And it's all pretty much done by a non-denominational Christian entity that organizes with all of the churches of the community, and they come together to run this facility. And so, it's a great archetype for a way that you could reach out to your community. That's a big multi-decade undertaking to deal with the problem. But the thing we always run up against, everyone's got great ideas. Everyone wants to help people, but how do you raise money? Well, to quote the Little Rascals, you put on a show. This is one way. One time I raised $25,000 with a community golf tournament. That's another way that you can raise money. But what I like about the community-wide praise and worship service is that it isn't just a way that you could potentially earn donations for a cause, but it is also an opportunity to unite the churches in your community to begin to work together on a cause that is worthy of all of your efforts. And if you can lay denominational issues aside, lay other things aside, and just concentrate and focus on this one goal. And one thing I like about praise and worship is that musicians tend to get along with each other when it comes to jamming. Like we just love each other when we meet each other and we get to jam with new people. It's often very fun. I mean, that's why musicians will come and play for free at blues jams and things like that. And so this also helps people share songs and music, because there's different music going on in different churches, and a lot of times we go to the internet or we go to these other sources, but sometimes some of the best arrangements are coming out of your own neighboring churches. And so it allows musicians to interact. It allows the community to unite. If we can praise God together, if we can agree for just one moment to put it all aside and worship God together, then in that way we can also come together to answer a cause, and to come together as one in a community to reach out and fix a problem that we all know needs fixing. And so we'll do this by reaching out to our community in a number of fundraisers. But one great way to kick it all off, to get it all started and to announce your cause and to have some fun and to find a way, you can find a way to turn this into money. It's up to you. You can do raffles, you can give away prizes, depending on the legalities in your area. This is an opportunity to just ask straight up for a straight donation for coming and enjoying and being part of an evening of praise and worship. You can take an offering. But more importantly, what you're going to do is you're going to unite your community together into one voice. And you can answer together collectively, because you're more powerful working together than you are separated. This is why the enemy always wants to separate us. And what better way to come together than praise and worship? So, introduction aside, let's get to the meat of it. How do you make this happen? Well, first of all, you've got to have a facility, and really at the beginning of this is a person, maybe it's you, who decides that they want to make this happen. And you're going to need a musician, a MC, a person who is good with people. So this key person is very important. And I hope if you're looking at this video wanting to do this, maybe you're that person. But you've got to go and reach out to your community praise and worship leaders. You find a way to get through past the secretary until you get the right number of the right person, until you're talking to another musician. And you go, hey, we want to do this thing. We want to put together this event to raise money for this. We want your church to be involved, not just in the praise and worship event, but this is a beginning point for us to work together in our community to help this issue, whatever this issue is, whether it's, homelessness, single parents, orphan children, whatever thing you want to do that we can agree as Christians needs to be done. And so you go to each musician, each praise and worship leader, each music director, whoever that person is, and you go, hey, we want you to come to this event, bring all your musicians, do 3 songs with us, and show us, your best 3 songs. Bring some of your people from church, have a good time. We're going to have a meal. You can buy this, you can do this, you can participate in this way. And all of this money is going to go into a designated fund to help this cause. And we want you to partner with us in this cause. And you sell it kind of like I have been selling you so far in this video. And get them to agree that this is a fun thing to do, a way of uniting your churches in your area, and a way of dealing with a problem in the community and solving some issues. And so come do 3 songs with us. We're inviting, say, 7 or 8 other churches to come, and they're going to do 3 songs. I'm going to MC the whole thing, and we're going to get together with, you pick your best musicians. Let's just all have a meeting. We'll talk about the music, man. We'll just all connect on this music thing, and we'll say who's our best players, and we'll put together an all-star band. We'll say, who's got the best drummer? Let's be real, who's got the best bass player? And, we'll put together this jam session of these best musicians. We'll have a rehearsal, just one the night before, because we're probably all good enough to just pull it off. We'll come in the night before, or a few days before, have a rehearsal on some basic songs. We'll have the all-star band start things, and then musicians will come and go from each church as each church is showcased through their praise and worship leader, the things that they do. And we join together in this flowing praise and worship only, no preaching. We talk at the beginning about the cause, and we talk about the cause when we're working on the announcements of how we're going to raise the money, whether it be through raffles or the selling of meals or just donations. There'll be an offering taking happening there, and we'll begin it and end it in prayer. But it's praise and worship. It's us joining together, and it's us sharing our music with each other and uniting together under one cause. And so you do, each group does two or three. They're backed by some of the better musicians so that the thing you put out there is really well done because of the talent that you've acquired from your community. Hey, you may not have the perfect band, and he might not have the perfect band, and they might not have the perfect band, but you put them all together, you should be able to come up with a perfect band, don't you think? This is my gift to the world. Take it for what it's worth. I know that it works. I've seen it done. I've seen tens of thousands of dollars raised this way. I've seen causes launched this way. And I've seen communities united in ways that we didn't think were possible, all through music. Work it if you can. There it is for you. And I'm just getting too old to be the guy in charge anymore. So, yeah, but it works. Just another way that you can raise money to make a difference in your community.